Good morning to all of you. I thought I'd start the day off with a bit of technical information and also just a bit of a news alert for many of you out there with respect to what's happening in the heavens. As you can see here, Aries, straight over here, the 0 degrees Aries, with the planet Uranus passing through your sun sign, particularly for those of you born in the first part of the sign. We have this interesting combination here, the right angle between Uranus and Pluto. Now, that's having a lot to do with your work, and this is an abrupt, I'd call it a force majeure, changes that can occur now, and not within your control. So Aries, that's definitely something you should be working on, or at least aware of, during this particular period of your life. You also note here that there's another right angle occurring just at this time with the moon. So over the next couple of days this could become a little more intense. So this influence affects the sign of Cancer here down the bottom, as you can see. I'll just give you a bit of a zoom in there. Just down here, the sign of Cancer, the sign of Capricorn, and of course the sign of Libra. Not so much, however, these planets, Pluto, Moon, Mercury, Uranus, are in the angular positions to these other three signs. So you can expect all of these cardinal signs, or what we call the movable signs, to have the influence of these planets over the coming days. And that's why I thought I'd give you a bit of an alert to what's going on here. Now, Taurus, some of these influences have to do with your past karma, because for you these planets actually fall in the 12th and the 12th house and the 9th house, which are spiritual and past karmic influences. So it's important for you to clean out the closets, so to speak, get rid of any of those old feelings, those old habits that have been bothering you. And again, same thing, during this next couple of days you see the combined influence of the Moon and Mercury in your 3rd house of mind, travel, short journeys. Look at this congestion in the 2nd house. I talked about this in your monthly update, just giving you a little bit of an update on the update. And you can see here finances are indeed a very strong focus just now. Here we have the past karmic node along with Jupiter. This again hints to a lot of your solutions are going to come through letting go of your past habits. And here again we have a very powerful right angle from Neptune here in the zone of friendships. But again, let's just stick to money. This is having to do with your profits, income. Now, Neptune is a confusing planet. It's idealistic. You probably have some very high ideals, but this is not matching the capacity that you have right now to bring this down to a material level. So you need to be realistic about that part of your life. Gemini, this congestion of planets is in your sun sign. Here we see that the sun is about to move out of Gemini over the next day or so. And actually what we're looking at here is a new moon, and for you, just as I mentioned with Taurus, this is a new moon occurring in your finance sector just now. It actually occurred in the sun sign of Gemini, your sun sign. So as well as having an impact on changing your attitude to yourself, this also is going to have a marked influence on your finances. This Mercury-Moon combination is interesting in that it gives you great imagination, but the right angle here to Saturn is very telling, because that can obstruct you, slow things down, and frustrate you, because you may want things to happen a lot quicker than they are. Cancer, this new moon in its what we call domicile. Moon is in your sun sign right now, so that can make you more emotional than normal. Here we see the continuing slow retrograde movement of Saturn, which is causing you some problems within your domestic sphere. Again, I might have mentioned that to you in the last reading that I did for the month of June, and now this is going to continue into July, August, this retrogression tells us that things related to your home, your residence, your property have to be sorted out just now. But that may not be so easy. And please keep your eye on this planet, because up until August, so we've got the last week of June into July and August, this planet Mars is going to move up here into the conjunction of Saturn. So the forecast for you is one of intensity, extreme feelings, and possibly even disputes over land, housing, or with the people that you live with. Don't forget to, for you, 1, 2, 3, this fourth space of the zodiac has everything to do with your mother and your historic family. So you can expect some challenges in that area of your life. Now Leo, we see that you've had your ruling planet, the Sun, moving through the 11th house, Gemini here, which is very sociable. It can intensify this part of your life, but now it's about to move into your 12th house. So this next month is going to be rather low key, or it should be. You need to bring down some of the energy, just get back in touch with yourself, and don't push yourself too hard in too many directions. Here we can see the new moon for you is really taking shape in this 12th house. So again, it's very spiritual, very self-reflective and retrospective in nature. Along with this 12th house, the 9th house, or Aries, according to Hindu astrology, has a lot to do with your past karma. Notice that this right angle to the moon is taking place here, 12 and 9. 12 and 9 shows us that you need to maybe return back to some of the older patterns or systems that you were using that were working. You need to pick the eye out of those areas in your spiritual discipline, your spiritual insight, intuition that were working for you in the past. Maybe you've let that go. Here's your opportunity now to reintroduce that into your life and to make things a lot better for you. Virgo, this Mars is taking its time in your sun sign. So the right angle here to the sun, there's a bit of a militant aspect. It's been taking place over this last 5 or 6 days in your career sector. Notice for you this cluster of planets, what we call a stellium, is chock-a-block here in your career zone. Now that can have to do with your employer, can have to do with the type of work you're doing. Once again, like a lot of us, you're probably doing way too much. You need to strip back, peel back the layers, and get back to the essentials. That's what's going to be the force that's driving your success over the coming weeks and months. Notice too that for you, this problematic Saturn, and it is powerful just now, it's a mixed planet for you. It rules this 5th house of speculation, more the 6th house of health and contention in your work and enemies, servants, these sort of things. It's in your finance sector. So these sort of areas of your life could be placing some additional pressure on your finances. So keep a watchful eye on how you're spending your money over the next few weeks. Libra, we keep focusing on Saturn for you here. And you've heard me talking about this. Now, actually, Saturn for you is the best planet in the zodiac. It rules the 4th and 5th directions simultaneously. What this means is that it's imbued with great strength and power to make life very, very good for you. Although you must, I'm sure you'll agree, you must accept the fact that Saturn is a slow-moving planet. It challenges you by seeing how disciplined you are and what you want to achieve in life. And if you've been watching this video, you'll notice that the right angle to Mercury, the coming right angle in the next couple of days to the Moon, these other aspects that are going to form here are challenging you in your work and also in your philosophical viewpoints as well. Note for you, unlike Western astrologers, the 9th house has a lot to say about your father and the ethical or moral discipline and examples that were set in the early part of your life. So some of this stuff may be oozing out when you least expect it, but hang in there, just do the right thing. Saturn actually gives success through meeting the challenges and overcoming the temptations head on. Scorpio. Still a very interesting period for you. Notice all of these planets are occurring in your 8th house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm using a whole sign system here for those technicians that are watching. Don't necessarily always do that, but when I'm doing readings for the masses, I think it's easier when we've got large numbers of people just to quickly zoom in on the general areas that are going to be focused. Now, finances, joint finances, other people's money, taxes. You may have some additional expenses now associated with this area. And for you, it's all about managing your budget and really looking at that and not sweeping that under the rug. It's also got a lot to do with sexuality and using the power of the Kundalini, the spiritual power or sexual energy as a means of transforming yourself now. Yeah, this is an interesting period for you. And it's one also where you're looking at improving yourself quietly day by day in your everyday activities. Sagittarius, the nodes are still influencing you, these nodes, this one here, what we call the dragon head and the dragon tail. 1-7 for you. This is the first space of the zodiac. That's your sun sign, 7th space. Marriage, relationships, business partnerships. All of these areas are really telling. Similar for Scorpio, the moon's just moved into the 8th house for you. So just over the next few days, a focus on shared resources, money. There could be some problems there with friendships because you've got this right angle from Mars in the 11th house, 10th house, 1, 12, 11, 10. I take that back. It'll be to do with co-workers rather than out-and-out friends. But, you know, your co-workers become friends. Be careful not to be too reactive to their suggestions, or you may be opposed to some actions that they're taking and maybe a little bit abrupt or outspoken in the way you deal with it. Just hold back a little bit before speaking. Capricorn, here we see the placement of the moon and Mercury in the 7th house. There should be a lot of energy going on here over the next few days in your relationships, your one-on-one partnerships, but you could be torn between work. That's this cluster of planets for you. New moon is taking place in the marriage sector, so working out your time schedule, giving adequate time to the people you love in your life is really the focus just now. Aquarius, there could be some health issues here the next few days. You need to address that. The 6th house for you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is where the moon and Mercury, and now the sun this next day or so, pardon me, will take its full energy into that zone of the horoscope, this 6th space. It also has to do with debts, paying out people money you owe them, dealing with that aspect. And of course, if you're overdoing your work, then that could be one of the reasons you're feeling a little lethargic, down, and incapable of really rising to the occasion if some important work is presented to you. So you need to work on that, work on your diet, your sleep patterns. You need to maybe get a bit more sleep, and to release the tension that you're experiencing in this area. It's obvious you're doing too much, and you need to prioritise just now. Pisces, final sign of the zodiac, lucky last. You're fortunate you've got your ruling planet Neptune here moving through your sun sign just recently over the last few months, now in retrogression. Retrograde planets are supposed to give a lot more power, sense of self. So you're tuning in, tapping in to these universal energies, which are very pronounced in this, the final sign of the zodiac. You could call this a mature, ripe soul, anyone born under Pisces. So your planet now in retrogression, according to some astrologers, particularly Eastern astrologers, gives you a great deal of power, a greater sense of self, and probably spiritual insights that you should be using. That is being challenged by your other sub-ruler, Jupiter. Now you notice that this shows your peace of mind. 4th house is your peace of mind. So it tells me that if you're just generally not satisfied with what you're doing, that's impacting upon your capacity to use the power of this planet to the fullest extent. I think you can get through this. Use these challenges to look at those areas that are blocked just now, and in doing so you're going to be able to relate to everyone around you in a much, much better way. Now, I'm not sure whether you can see me here. I thought you might have been a little bit tired of dealing with the horoscope, and I just wanted to thank you all for tuning into the video blogs that I'm doing now. I am going to have a better opportunity now that I'm settled, sort of moved into my new place here in the province of the Philippines, and I can address some of these month by month, week by week issues. Of course, you can visit me at astrology.com.au. You have a contact button there, and you can send me any of your thoughts. If you'd like to have a reading, or you've got a technical problem as well. I have a lot of people who aspiring astrologers, even professional astrologers, who want to share their ideas, and that's always welcome. And looking forward to talking to you further, and just following what's happening astrologically. I know a lot of you think, well, he talks a lot about politics and the impending sort of 2012 doomsday stuff. Yeah, that's over to the side, but day by day we need to live, irrespective of what the destiny of humanity is about. So that's what I'd like to do here, and love you to join me again in future. Take care now, and look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.